Jagga Jagga.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. And I'd like to thank the member for Cunningham for moving this motion. And like her and like so many of my colleagues, the NDIS is a critical issue for me and for members of my community. Certainly, I know that in terms of representations to my office in Jagga Jagga, this would be one of the top 5 issues that people bring to me, challenges that they are having with the NDIS, looking for my support for their interactions with the NDIA and for understanding and interventions in outcomes that they just don't understand. And this tells us something which I think we do all know, that the NDIS, while a great scheme, is not working as it should for some participants. Many people do have excellent experiences as part of the NDIS, and I'm so pleased when I come across a parent who tells me that the NDIS has literally been life-changing for their children, and there are a lot of those parents, and that is something to absolutely be acknowledged and celebrated. The NDIS is a great Labor reform. It is a great Labor legacy, and now it seems it is up to a new Labor government to make sure that we fix the NDIS and make sure that it is working as it should for all participants. We do want to ensure that those people who have had experiences that they just shouldn't have during the last 9 years of the coalition government don't have those experiences into the future. I don't want it to be a continuing situation where I have parents coming into my office saying, I just don't understand how this decision was made. I can't get them to explain what's behind this. Why are we at the AAT? Why are lawyers involved? This isn't how the scheme was meant to operate. It is meant to give people with disability choice and control. At the moment, for some people, that is absolutely working, but it's not working for enough people. And so our government wants to restore trust in the scheme. We want to see improved outcomes for participants and for the people who support them. And I absolutely know that my community wants to see this too. Deputy Speaker, at the beginning of this year, I wrote to households across my community about the NDIS because I had been hearing from so many people about problems they'd encountered. And I asked them to share their stories and their experiences so I could better advocate on their behalf. Across the feedback I received was a clear indication that our community does want the NDIS to be at its best, that people saw the potential that's there for the NDIS to be as good as it can be, delivering supports and services to people in our community who need them. And I continue to highlight that local desire as well as the local experiences of NDIS participants and their families with our Minister. And I am pleased to see that in the first 6 months of our government, there are some very important steps that have been taken by our government to get the NDIS back on track. And it's not a small thing to say this includes the new leadership at the National Disability Insurance Agency, the NDIA. This is an important step. We know that those at the top of an organisation, of any organisation, help set the standard. They're not the only people there, but they are important people there, and they do help to set the tone, to set the standard and to reinforce values. So in the last couple of months, Kurt Fernley has been appointed chairperson of the NDIA board, and he's joined by new board members Dr Graham Innes and Marianne Diamond. And what these appointments bring is lived experience, which is so crucial to the scheme. They bring corporate and public sector experience and a great understanding and knowledge of the issues being experienced by so many people on the scheme. Also a new CEO to help show to participants that this is a new chapter for the NDIA under our government. The government's also sought to address some of the challenges that advocates have been highlighting with me and others as key issues. We are working to reduce the backlog of time-consuming, expensive AAT appeals that I know have caused so much stress and anxiety for too many people. In just 5 months, 2,000 inherited legacy cases have now been resolved, slashing the backlog in half. And this is really important. Again, I can't tell you how many families I've had come to me stressed about ending up at the tribunal. Our government is also reducing the number of people with disability unnecessarily stuck in hospitals, despite them being medically fit for discharge. So we've reduced this to about 1,100 people and reduced the average wait time. We are funding 380 new positions in the NDIA to deliver better and faster planning decisions for participants, as well as their families, carers and providers, to give them that certainty so that they know what their pathway is, so that they understand what to expect, so that in what can be a really stressful time, people feel supported, not like they are being told what they can't have, but like they are being supported with rules they can understand. These are all important changes.